What happened to you specifically?
Oh, well, basically what happened was we were all trying to, well, first of all, we got to Union Square. The march went all the way to Union Square. Thousands of people, at least a few thousand. After we went back, the police started pulling out the netting, trying to net us around, corral us around in specific areas. And there was a point where we had to literally run because they were running with the nets. It was almost comical, trying to, you know, enclose us with the net. I said, "Oh, looks like the cops are going fishing," you know, with the nets.
Nice.
But they ended up blocking off one of the streets that we were running towards, so we cut across the street. It was like a side street, and they already had that side street blocked off. So we had nowhere to go, and they ended up closing it up. So both sides of the streets were netted. And I was with a group of at least 60, maybe 60, 70 people. And there was a pregnant woman, and Grannies for Peace were with us too.
Nice.
This is where what really boils the blood of a lot of people when I tell this part of the story. But there was a pregnant woman with us, and there were 3 women that were kind of defending her because one of the cops was like yelling at her and saying, "Get with the group," you know. And she was just trying to get out because she didn't want to be there. She wanted to just get out. She wanted to leave, and she didn't want to do civil disobedience. She was like, "I need to just leave." And three other women were trying to defend her, and they got maced. And that was not good. I wasn't actually at that area when that happened, but I saw the aftermath, and I talked to the people that were there, and it wasn't good. But after that, then they started enclosing the 2 sides, trying to make it smaller so we couldn't go, because then we started walking back, and then we walked back trying to figure out where to go, nowhere to go. So they finally enclosed us to a point where we couldn't go anywhere. So we just said, we're not doing anything wrong. We were on the streets, we're peacefully protesting, so we just sat down. We even said, okay, let's make sure we clear a path to the sidewalk because we're not taking up the full sidewalk. That's exactly what we did. We then sat down. We sat down peacefully, and then the cops then said, okay, everyone up against the wall, and did a mass arrest. That was basically what happened, and irony after that happened when they had to bring an MTA bus to bring us all back to the precinct. So they I wasn't in the bus, but I was in one of the paddy wagons, but they took a large group into the bus, and from what I heard, the group in the bus was actually really high-spirited because they were singing and all that other stuff, and it was really good. But I was with a group that was a little bit down, depressed, a little sad, just because one man was a heavier set fellow who had cuffs that were really tight on him, and his hands were literally turning blue and purple. I could see it. I could literally see it. And it was swelling, a huge amount of swelling. Everyone in the paddy wagon was like saying, you have to loosen this guy's cuffs. You have to loosen his cuffs, or he's going to lose his circulation, or have an injury or something. And they totally ignored us until they actually, I'd say about 3 hours later, 2 hours later, when they finally said, okay, fine, we'll bring out a knife, and they kind of slipped it in the side to loosen it, to kind of push it down. They didn't actually cut it off though; they just loosened it. And I'm like, oh well, if you're gonna do his, why don't you do mine too? And he was nice enough to do it to all the people who had really tight cuffs, because I had really tight cuff. I still can't feel my thumb. I haven't gotten the nerves back in my thumb, and because it was tighter on my left arm than it was on my right. But after they did that, they just took us through processing. We were in a group cell for about 12 and a half hours, and they never told us our rights. Obviously, they never told us what we were being detained for, why we were being detained, and until after the 12 and a half hours when they released us, and they said, oh yeah, you were in here for civil disobedience, now get out, and show up here in court, and that was pretty much the rundown.
So you have a court date now?
Yes, I do. I do. But what's funny is that everyone else has the same court date, so we're probably all gonna show up there. The judge's gonna be like, do I really want to do this right now? And then just be like, yeah, let's just let these guys go. Yeah, exactly, because it's like they assumed we were like some criminal group of organization or whatever, and they were making fun of us most of the time too, which was not necessary either. But I met this guy while we were in, and his name was Bombadillo, or that's his nickname at least, and he had like this big. It's an instrument. I forgot the name of it. It's it's like an Austrian wind instrument. It's really, really large.
Didgeridoo?
Didgeridoo, yes. He had a didgeridoo, and the cops were like, "What is this? Some kind of huge bong that you hippies smoke out of?" You know, like. And I'm like, "Is that really necessary? Do I look like a hippie? I'm a college student. I'm studying computer science. I'm not a hippie." I mean, like everyone here, we don't really associate with being. I couldn't really speak for the entire group, but of the people I know, and I have met a lot of great people here. Of the people I know, we don't really associate with being hippies. We just associate with being, free thinkers. We associate with wanting to promote change, wanting to just show the world that, the people's voice can still be heard, and show the world not to be afraid of cops and not to be afraid of being detained and such. And while we were we were singing songs, we were having a party. We even got to the point where we were looking at the cops doing all of our paperwork and saying, wait, they're the ones that are actually slaves in prison right now. They're the ones that have to do all of our 68 people's paperwork, and we're here having a party. So, that's where it came out to be.
Did they take you to the tombs, or was it just the precinct?
It was just in the precinct. Yeah, it was just the precinct. It was in a large group holding cell. They split up the men and women, one men, one women. We couldn't even see the cell the women were kept in, but we assumed they were further down. But we were having a party. We were joking, we were having fun, and we were talking and making fun of the cops the entire time and saying how they're like, oh, they're prisoners, they're the ones that are actually prisoners, not us, It was fun. But it wasn't that bad, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it was kind of scared. I was kind of nervous, frustrated, scared about like, how is this going to reflect on me, But and also how's it going to reflect on the group as well. But I was actually kind of happy that they ended up doing it, because they actually said in the end, which I overheard a conversation with one cop saying, quote, "Oh shit, we really shouldn't have done that. This is now just a clusterfuck," end quote, because of how many people they had to process. Then we were there for 12 and a half hours.
Unending paperwork.
Exactly. Oh god, you could see the looks on these guys' faces. This was like 2 in the morning on a Saturday night. They have better things to do probably, so they really didn't want to be there, and we really made a statement by that. They were the ones that lost that night. We were the ones that won, even though they arrested us. So that's basically what happened.